Her mother didn't extend her hand. Spring light filtered to the cafe windows, lavender lattes steamed on marble tables. And I sat there in my best blazer, shoes polished until they gleamed, hair slicked so tight it pressed against my skull like armor. I'd rehearsed this, gone over every word, every gesture. The woman across from me assessed me with a glance sharp enough to draw blood. Marissa's mother. Decades of old money refined into pearl earrings and a smile cold as winter steel. So, she drew the word out, stirred her lemon water without sugar, without ice. You work in logistics. Back-end operations for a mid-sized firm. I said, steady voice, steady hands. But I'm building something of my own, a platform for independent artisans. It connects craftspeople directly with buyers, cuts out the middleman. Passion projects. She drained half her glass in one swallow. How quaint. The word landed soft, venom wrapped in silk. I understood then what I faced. Not a person. A legacy. Old money in pearls and quiet judgment. A jury delivering verdicts without trials. Marissa sat beside me, radiant in the afternoon glow. I loved her with an intensity one couldn't articulate. Loved the way she saw the world through a lens, framing light and shadow into art. She dreamed of opening her own photography studio someday, a space where she could create without compromise. I'd supported her through graduate school, covered rent when her stipend ran short, maxed out my credit card to buy her that camera for her birthday, the one she'd circled in catalogs for months. When she wanted to quit the gallery because her boss made her skin crawl, I promised I'd cover every bill until she found something better. Her family never witnessed any of it. To them, I remained a boy from a working-class town with a startup nobody understood. Dinner at their house came 3 weeks later. Her father regarded me the way someone examines an unexpected medical bill. Her brother Cole cracked jokes about real jobs over prime rib and expensive wine. His hedge fund bonus already earmarked for a vintage sports car. Marissa sipped her Bordeaux, eyes fixed on the burgundy liquid swirling in crystal. She didn't defend me. Later, in the car, I gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles blanched. She stared through the windshield at nothing. "They'll come around," she said, but her voice carried no conviction. I drove us home through streets slick with rain, the city lights smearing across wet asphalt. Inside our apartment, my apartment, technically, the lease bearing only my name, she kicked off her heels and disappeared into the bedroom without another word. I stood in the kitchen, tie loosened, jacket draped over a chair. The refrigerator hummed. A siren wailed somewhere distant. My phone buzzed. An email from one of my artisans, a woodworker in Vermont, asking about payment processing delays. I'd fix it tomorrow. Tonight. Exhaustion pressed down like gravity doubled. I loved Marissa. Loved her fiercely. But somewhere between her mother's lemon water and her family's crystal wine glasses, I'd become invisible. And I didn't yet understand how dangerous invisible men could become. 6 months after we moved in together, I worked 16-hour days. Freelance gigs paid the rent. Late nights building the platform drained whatever remained. Marissa started coming home later. Stopped asking about my day. Started comparing. Jessica's boyfriend is a surgeon, she mentioned once, chopping vegetables with mechanical precision. They're looking at houses in Westchester. I nodded, eyes burning from screen glare. David got promoted to partner. Bought membership at the country club. Chop, chop, chop. Why you always smell like stress and takeout? She wrinkled her nose, genuine disgust flickering across her features. I thought she was joking. Laughed. She wasn't. Her mother sent apartment listings, luxury buildings in better neighborhoods with doormen and marble lobbies. The messages always start the same way. Just options, darling. If you decide to upgrade your space. Upgrade. As if I were outdated software. Her birthday arrived on a Tuesday. I'd planned an intimate dinner. Reservations at the Italian place where we had our first date. Flowers, a bracelet I couldn't afford. I found her entire family in the restaurant instead. Her mother blinked at my arrival. Surprise genuine for once. Her father didn't stand. Marissa kissed my cheek, lips barely grazing skin, and whispered, Just smile tonight. The evening dissolved into discussions of Cole's venture capital triumphs, his year-end bonus, his vintage Porsche already ordered. Her mother mentioned a friend's daughter, who'd married into the Winthrop estate. Her father raised his glass to legacies enduring. Walking the car afterward, Marissa spoke without looking at me. I need someone who matches the life I want, not the life you hope for. The words hung in the cold air between us, crystallizing like frost. I sat on the apartment floor in darkness. No lights, no music, nothing. The platform was glitching, errors cascading through code I'd written at 3 a.m. 2 artisans had already left, their angry emails still glowing on my phone screen. Rent was due in 4 days. My credit cards maxed, bank account hovering in the low hundreds. Marcus, my best friend and technical partner, had vanished 2 weeks earlier, took half the codebase with him, joined a competitor without warning, without explanation. The betrayal carved deeper than Marissa's words. I could survive heartbreak. Business collapse was different, slower, more suffocating, death by 1,000 small failures. My phone buzzed. Marissa's mother, texting about furniture I'd left at their lake house last summer. Could I collect it by Friday? I deleted the message. Then I made a decision. Not revenge. I didn't have energy for revenge. Something colder, sharper. Cut everything away. Every distraction. Every person who didn't believe. Focus solely on survival. The platform could work. The model was sound. Connect premium creators directly with buyers. Take a small percentage. Scale gradually. I'd built the infrastructure. Written every line of back-end code myself. Marcus hadn't taken everything. I pulled my laptop closer. Screen brightness harsh in the darkness. Opened the code base. Started rewriting. Outside, the city hummed with Friday night energy. Laughter, car horns, music spilling from bars. People living lives I'd once imagined for myself. I had beans and rice for the next 3 months. I had code. I had nothing left to lose. I moved out within a week. Crashed in an old college friend's place. Sleeping on a futon that smelled like cigarettes and regret. Beans and rice. Rice and beans. Sometimes pasta, if I felt extravagant. Every day I rewrote code. Restructured the entire backend. Shifted the model toward premium creators. Studied user data until my eyes blurred and the numbers danced. 3 a.m. became my most productive hours. Then the lawsuit arrived. Marcus was suing me for stolen intellectual property, claiming I'd taken his code, his ideas, his vision. The legal papers sat on the futon like a death sentence. Lawyers cost thousands I didn't have. The platform could be shut down before it even launched properly. I almost gave up. Almost. At a tech meetup in a cramped community center, I met a volunteer lawyer named Chun. She listened to my story over cheap coffee, reviewed my documentation, saw the timestamps on every file. I'll help you, she said. 20% of future profits if we win. Future profits. The phrase sounded fictional. During the legal battle, I kept working. Slept 3, maybe 4 hours. Lost weight I couldn't afford to lose. My reflection in bathroom mirrors showed a stranger, gaunt, hollow-eyed, burning. We won. Chin proved I'd written everything myself. Every function, every algorithm, every line. Marcus received a permanent injunction against similar lawsuits. The day the judge ruled in my favor, I sat in that courthouse hallway and breathed for what felt like the first time in months. Then I launched a new version of the platform. It exploded. Artisans flooded in. Registrations doubled within 6 weeks. A micro-influencer with 30,000 followers posted about the interface. Clean, intuitive, actually designed for creators instead of corporations. She didn't charge me. Did it because she believed in what I'd built. The post went viral in niche communities. Woodworkers, jewelers, textile artists, ceramic makers. They came in waves. By year's end, 2 major venture capital firms reached out. 7-figure valuations. Term sheets with clauses I had to read 3 times to comprehend. Marissa never called, but I saw her mother in a business magazine, photographed at some charity gala downtown. Designer gown, champagne flute, the same pearls she'd worn to that first cafe meeting. I zoomed in on the background of the photo. There, on the wall behind the buffet table, hung a painting. Abstract desert landscape, turquoise and burnt orange. My logo sat in the bottom corner. An artist from New Mexico. I'd personally helped her create her first listing, walked her through the payment setup, answered her panicked emails at midnight when she thought she'd deleted everything. She'd made it. Her work hung at their charity event. They had no idea. I closed the magazine and smiled. Not from bitterness or vindication, but from something quieter. Proof. The platform worked. Artists I'd helped were succeeding, creating, thriving. The validation I'd once craved from Marissa's family no longer mattered. I'd built my own table, and it was getting crowded with people who actually belonged there. Hungry, talented, often overlooked. People like me. The office downtown came next. Sleek space with exposed brick. Natural light flooding through industrial windows. I hired a lean team. Young, driven, underdogs who understood what it meant to be underestimated. We were building something real,